Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, as you guys can tell, we have a whole new background, new person, new everything. I'm just showing you guys how I do a soft glam on one of my clients. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then let's just go ahead and hop right in. To start off, I like to use the Evian facial spray just to refresh her face, and I'm going in with the Luminous MAC and the Prep and Prime primer and the Wet n Wild photofocus primer, and I'm just putting this all over her face. I like to use the two little MAC ones because they're really like luminous and they give it like a nice glow. And I'm also putting on the Calamine lotion, so I'm just like to let my primer set and I just go ahead and just fill in the brows. I'm using the Morphe brow pencil in the shade Java, and I'm just basically filling in the brows. To clean up her brows and to set her eyelids, I'm using two of the Revlon Candid concealers in the shade 28 and 75. And I'm also going in with the Maybelline concealer in the shade 30 Cafe. And I'm using the Maybelline concealer and the Revlon Candid concealer in the shade 75 to clean up her brows. And I'm just going in and mixing in that lighter shade last to just put that on her eyelid to use as a base for her eyes. And I'm basically just doing the same thing on the other eye. I'm just basically using those two concealers to conceal the two darker shades closer to her skin complexion, and I'm using the lighter shade to mix in on her eyelid just to use that as a base. So one of the palettes I'll be using today is the Makeup Revolution Basic Matte Reloaded palette, and I am basically using the two dark brown shades in the palette, and I'm starting off with her outer corner. These have numbers on the back instead of names, so I'll list those down in the description box as well. And I'm just basically putting those in her outer corner and going into her crease. Basically for this look, I'm just going to be blending all over, so I'm just using that first, and then I'm going in with the James Charles palette because he has a really nice dark brown shade that I like to use just to deepen up her outer corner. And I'm going back in with my main palette that I'm using, and I'm just blending out everything just to make sure it looks really soft and nice. So I'm just going to be doing a full cut crease using the same concealers that I used besides the Maybelline one. So I just used the two Revlon Candid concealers in 28 and 75, and I'm just basically creating a full cut crease. So I learned this technique from Kiki Adams, and I'm just tapping into that concealer that I just used on her lid just to get rid of the excess concealer, just to make it tacky enough so I can just have the shadows show more and just look better on her lid. So I am just using those two shades that I just tapped into on that palette, the two nude shades, and I'm just putting that on her eyelid just to create a basic nude lid. So going back in with the dark brown shade in the main palette that we're using, and I'm putting this on her outer corners, and I'm kind of dragging it down to her lash line just to kind of make a little curve so it can be like an ombre effect when I blend it out. So going into a blending brush, I'm just kind of blending out that dark brown shade just to make it look like more ombre effect type of look. And I'm just going to also blending around where the dark brown is just so it won't look too harsh on her eyes. Although I do love a matte soft glam, I wanted to add a little shimmer on where I created her crease line. So where her crease is, that's where I added the shimmer pigment from Naked Cosmetics. I'll link down below the particular shade name. But I just put that right on her crease line. And I just made sure to wipe away the excess glitter on her lid because I want to keep her lid looking matte. Going in with the Smashbox eyeliner, and this is in the shade Midnight Black. I'm using this to create a wing on her eyes. I wanted a wing that is more bold for this soft glam type of look. So I just put on top the liquid liner from e.l.f. Cosmetics, and this just kind of made it just pop more, and it gave it a little bit more pigment since the gel liner is much more soft, so I just put that on top of her wing liner and I just created those wings. Alright, so I'm moving on to her foundation since it takes a while for the liquid liner to dry down before putting on the glitter. I'm using two different foundations. One of them is the Revlon foundation and the other one is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. And I just mixed those two up together and I'm just blending that out with a sponge first. Now I'm just finishing off my blending process with a buffing brush, and y'all, when I tell you the Real Technique buffing brushes are the crap, like they work so good with like just blending out everything. So that's what I'm doing now, is just blending out last with the buffing brush from Real Technique, and I'll list down the actual brush in the description box for you guys. Alright, so moving on to concealer, I'm starting with the ColourPop concealer just to color correct under her eyes. I honestly forgot to do it before foundation, but I just did it right on top of her foundation because I didn't really add foundation under her eyes. So I'm using the other two concealers, which is the Revlon concealers, and I mixed those two up just to put on the rest of her highlighted areas on her face. So I'm trying this new technique when I'm concealing on the forehead. I'm carving out the top of their brows just to make their brows pop more. And honestly, when I tried this on her look, it came out really nice and the eyebrows was looking really good. So now I'm going back in with the ColourPop concealer and I'm just blending that out under the eyes first. And then I'm just going to be adding in the regular concealer that I used for the rest of her face. And now I'm just basically just carving out her wing liner just to make it look more sharp. So now I have let the concealer sit in her face for a while. I'm just going in with this Real Technique brush. I use it to blend out concealer, so I'm just using that to just blend out her concealer first. And then I'm going back in with the regular foundation buffing brush that I used. And this just helps like dye down the little concealer that I used on her face, and it makes it look more soft and just put together. Alright, so now I'm just going back under the eyes just to blend that out first with the brush that I used to blend out my concealer with. And I'm just going over it with a buffing brush as well just to blend out everything. So now time to set her face. I'm just using a sponge first, just right up under her eyes so it won't crease as much. And then I'm going over the rest of her face with a brush, and I'm just going on the bridge of her nose, on her forehead, and back up under her eyes just so it can just set into the concealer and just set really nice. And I'm basically just going over the highlighted areas where I added the concealer. So moving on to bronzer, I'm just going back in with the palette and I'm using the dark brown shade, and I also used one of the shades from the James Charles palette, that dark brown shade in that palette, and I just used that just to bronze up her face a little bit, give her a little bit of color, and snatch that nose, because you already know I do when I do my bronzer, I snatch the nose. So yeah, that's basically just what I did. I used those two shades from out of the palette, not really an actual bronzer, but just those two shadows just to create the bronzer. And just to tone down the bronzer on her nose a little bit, I just went back in with that foundation brush. When I tell y'all that brush is magic, it's magic. It's the job done. So yeah, I'm just using that same brush, and I'm just wiping away the excess powder from the setting powder, and I'm just kind of making sure everything looks clean and together and just smoothing everything. Alright, so now I'm just adding some blush to her cheeks, and this is the Tarte blush in the shade Quirky. Moving on to highlighter, I'm using the Hikari Cosmetics little bronzing highlighter palette, and I'm using those two golden shades, and I'm putting it on the tip of her nose, the bridge of her nose, and the cheeks, and I'm just basically getting her glammed up with this highlighter. So now I'm just setting her face with this facial spray, and I'm just patting in that spray into her skin. And when you pat it into the skin, it just helps the face and the base look really, really nice. So onto her lashes, I'm using the Yalorde lashes. I forgot in what style, but I'll link that down below. So I just added the glue onto the lashes and I'm letting them dry down a little bit. So I'm going to create a glitter liner on top of her wing liner, and I just added some glue, and now I'm just adding in the glitter chunks from Flutter by Row. And I'll also link down below what shade those are in. But I just put that right on top of her wing liner, and it actually came out really, really nice. And it was my first time doing it, so I was really proud of how that came out. And I'm just basically doing the same thing on the other eye, just adding the glitter right on top of the wing liner and just wiping it away. Alright, so moving on to her lashes. I know you guys can see exactly how I'm applying her lashes, but I just like to have her looking down or close her eyes, and then I just place them right on her lash line, right in the middle, starting out in the middle, and then pinching her real lashes and her fake lashes together just so they stick and that they blend in really nice. So going back in with the palette, I'm going with the dark brown, and I'm just blending that out on her under eyes. Alright, so moving on to the lips, I'm using the NYX lip liner. I honestly forgot what shade this was in, so I will put that in the description box. But I'm just putting this lip liner on her lips first, and then going over it with a pink matte lip gloss. And then I'm going over it with the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Maybelline, and I'm putting that over just to add a little shine to her lips. Alright guys, so this concludes this video with me creating a soft glam with a glitter wing liner on my client. So if you guys want to see more client tutorials, then make sure you guys give me a big thumbs up and comment down below for more of these type of videos. I got a little back camera footage for you guys. This was actually my first time filming this type of video with the back camera footage. So if you guys like this video, give me a big thumbs up and make sure you guys are subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.